We're here with Michael Levine, the Executive Director of the Joan Ganz Cooney Center. Congratulations on your latest report.
Thank you so much, Scott. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thanks. Can you tell me a little bit about how it came to be?
So the new report, which is called Learning at Home, is part of a new initiative that the Joan Ganz Cooney Center, along with other research consortium members, are putting forward to better understand the trends and the incentives that families have to use media together, as well as the ways in which we can look across platform to see what's coming next.
And this is very kind of diverse and wide. I mean, there are multiple groups, there are multiple reports that you envision.
So Learning at Home is a national quantitative study which will be released on January 24th in New York City at the Breakthrough Learning Forum, our fourth Breakthrough Learning Forum. And then a number of ethnographic field studies are already in the field and will be rolling out over the next 6 to 9 months. So there'll be a set of quantitative studies, such as the National Survey, and then deep dive ethnographic studies in which we're talking to families and children directly about the new media habits that they have in this digital age. This will be children with families between the ages of 2 and 12, actually. Some of our partners include the Life Center, which is an NSF-funded center that's based at Stanford University, University of Washington, SRI, and Northwestern University, Rutgers University, Arizona State University, and the AARP. So Scott, we're really excited about those studies. And then finally, we have generous support from a number of philanthropies in order to plan a longitudinal study with our partners at Sesame Workshop, in which we'll be taking a look at a whole range of different ways in which educational media may or may not matter around educational impact.
Great, great. One of the things that this study really begs or calls my attention to is what are the potential policy discussions to come?
Yeah, so Learning at Home actually opens up what I think is a long-standing conversation in new ways. For example, we found that media in the home for younger children is deemed much more educational than the media choices that children who are older than 4 are experiencing in the home. So, number one, should we incentivize through public broadcasting or other kinds of public-private partnerships new incentives for media production for older kids? Secondly, we found that Hispanic and Latino families in particular who value educational media as an aspirational force for their children are not as satisfied, not nearly as satisfied as other families in our survey. Is there something that we should be doing to incentivize producers and educators to create media that would be more sensitive and responsive to Hispanic families' rich cultural and language assets? So that's number 2. Number 3, I think there's a real question about how learning at home connects to the current education reform mantra, which is higher standards, deeper content, more expertise across the pathway to academic success. So if we can figure out a way to get the kind of educational media that are being developed for very young children that parents value to be even more robust on other platforms that could be extended into the community and into schools, that would be a really great thing. One more thing that I would have to say about the policy issues that you've raised and I think that are kind of keyed up in this report. One is, can we be very careful about the kinds of media that are labeled as educational that don't have evidence to back them up? I mean, we've seen a number of instances in which false marketing, or let's just say overzealous marketing of educational media products have been shown to be, in fact, untrue. So we need a sort of a voluntary system, as well as some incentives and regulations that I would say would be associated with educational media value. Some of this can be done just by the industry itself, and certainly public media and public broadcasting have a very rich tradition, as do a lot of other educational media producers. But we need to be careful about what we label as educational, and we also need to help parents quite a bit more than we currently do to find the good stuff. I think one of the things that this survey, again, reinforces from our perspective is that we're living in a little bit of a digital Wild West from the perspective of educators and parents, and they need some tools to help them discover and curate the many examples of media that are coming into their home. And then finally, I think there's a need for incentives for mobile creators. So far, we're seeing the crest of a wave in the purchase of new tablets and new smartphone devices for younger and younger children. But up till now, parents don't feel confident that the kinds of apps and other kinds of educational resources that are available to their youngsters are as adequate as the television that's provided to preschool youngsters.
Great. Thank you very much for sharing, Michael. I look forward for the report and everyone getting their hands on it and taking a peek.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks so much.